This whole drama with Parlo and Internet Adjacent seems to have sparked up like a weird... It's kicked a hornet's nest that I wasn't really familiar with. From Parlo's side, I don't think enough was done to be able to explicitly communicate exactly what happened. Nothing is going to change if he finds new friends. It's going to be the exact same thing, because the problem isn't actually with his relationships. The problem is how he engages with his relationships. Internet Adjacent was the one who started talking to Himpleton about crushing Parlo, quote unquote, with a response. So he came out first with his document. So I don't get this. I don't get this. This happened over a month ago, and he's been working on his response ever since. So I don't know what there is. I don't know what there is to like take your time on. Anyway, okay. So he is going to come back and he is going to issue a response. A response to the response to his initial preempting of allegations. This is such a torrid fucking affair. Anyway, yeah. Why is he freaking? This is pretty low stakes drama, even with the cheeky finger. Yeah. Okay. Listening to the way that Internet Adjacent talks about this stuff, okay? And having had a couple conversations in private, he just seems incredibly sensitive to the things that other people are going to believe about him, to the things that other people are going to say. And I will say, okay, in my opinion, basically everything that Internet Adjacent does or is doing is with an idea for like how it's gonna look in the public, how people are gonna talk about this. That seems to be primarily kind of the guiding light here. Now, that's not necessarily anything malicious, right? Not necessarily anything malicious, but he does speak quite a lot about his interest in getting people to not think that he's done something horrific, not think that he's done something bad. I mean, Parlo has come out after these allegations and bumped it up, right? Initially, Parlo was very specific to not make any particular allegation, right? To not label the situation in any way. However, in his meanderings about his GoFundMe, yeah, he describes it as an alleged sexual assault. So this is this person, Tanuki. Not really sure who this person is. Roblox commentary YouTuber. Goes out and tweets and talks about the GoFundMe situation. And then Parlo says, Tanuki is openly lying. I never used the donation money for hookups. The money was transferred days after the situation. Tanuki is using an alleged sexual assault situation to try and slander me and harass me once again, while spreading misinformation without hearing my side. Right. So realistically, there is no relevance to the fact that this is around an alleged sexual assault, other than to sympathy bait. Realistically, it's a complete distraction from the topic. But in any case, yeah. So Parlo looks like he was going further actually yesterday, and then labeling it as a sexual assault. Okay, there we are. I hate everyone involved with this, not gonna lie. I think that's probably a reasonable take. Possibly a reasonable take. Listen, I don't know why Parlo is like twisting himself up in knots over this. It was like so obvious while we were talking about this that yeah, you're never going to be able to raise funds. You're never going to be able to raise funds for food, bills, essentials, and then also spend your money this frivolously, right? What's the big thing that people talk about in regards to cafles? There's very little evidence for it, except for people kind of whispering about it behind the scenes. Why is everyone talking about cafles having a cocaine addiction? It's because you're spending that money frivolously. You're fundraising, while at the same time, yeah, kind of spending your money on excesses, unnecessary expenses. It kind of suggests that you don't actually need this money. You don't need this money at all, right? You want this money. You're fundraising and kind of trying to make your situation seem a lot more dramatic, right? You're trying to make your situation seem a lot more dramatic, a lot more dire, in order to try and generate funds, when actually, it's kind of not that deep. Oh, okay. And then also, the ticket and laptop were purchased before funds were directed to my account. So he does admit that he bought a new laptop. So he did buy a new laptop as well. Right. The ticket and laptop were purchased before funds were directed to my account. The foods were then used for exactly what was described on the GoFundMe. Ergo, this is not fraud or scamming. You've already spread misinformation in your first tweet. Right. Okay. You can literally say, this means, what does this mean? If you want to take it, like, logically, just on what was said, what does it mean? I kindly ask, all I kindly ask is a small donation to help me pay for expenses, food, rent, and other amenities in this horrible period of time. Right? So, amenities, expenses, general vague terms. What are the two specifics that we get? Food and rent. Bare necessities. Bare necessities. Dude, I mean... Dude, could you imagine if a friend asked you for cash? Let's just take it to this. It's going to be so much fucking easier, okay? If a friend asked you for cash, so, oh, yeah, I'm in a really, really rough position right now. I'd really appreciate if you could kind of like, if I could just loan some money, please, you know? Oh, really, I don't have a lot of money to really, like, splash around right now. Like, cash is tight for me. It's like, please, dude, I need this cash for, like, expenses, food, rent, and other amenities. So, oh, okay, sure thing. And then you find out that he's flying friends out from, like, other continents to come and meet up with him. To have, like, an orgy weekend. Oh, okay. And you bought a laptop as well. Okay, right, okay. Yeah. A little bit different. Get to the 15-year-old already. I've got no idea what you're talking about, Carl. I've got no idea what you're talking about. Oh, I'm not going to reference that. Especially if, okay, well, I've deleted all the fucking instances of the document being spread. I did have, not that I want to draw too much attention to it, okay? This whole drama with Parlo and Internet Adjacent seems to have sparked up, like, a weird... It's kicked a hornet's nest that I wasn't really familiar with. It kicked up a hornet's nest I wasn't really familiar with. Okay, good, you did that? Yeah. I've already deleted it all. What's going on in your Discord? So a few people joined, and there's apparently now an expose document that's been made on Parlo. However, I will absolutely not be covering it, and I don't think anyone else should either. It comes from, we'll say, dubious sources, makes dubious claims, and then also just hosts, like, a shit ton of, like, docs information. Yeah, it always kicks the hornet's nest. Every time Parlo gets into some shit, his A-log is activate, and they're all kids. Yeah, that seems to be true. Yeah. Okay. A first time dealing with tea? This is bait for snarky wine mums. Okay. Kick them from your server then? Yeah, Anon, I have. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I don't know why. Okay, Anon, if I told you that somebody was posting child porn in a server that I moderated, would you not assume that I'd ban them? They're posting docs information. Of course they're getting banned. Fucking hell. Okay. Parapon did it, to be fair. Yeah. Parapon did it just as I, like, got in the call to be like, what the fuck is going on right now? Why is everyone talking with this, like, person who's just joined the server? Oh, okay. I think they were, like, streaming their fucking shit. Anyway. Okay, let's get into this. So, this has been the update that's come in the last few hours, okay? So, at everyone, I'm assuming this is in Parlo's Discord, my dad has control of my finances currently, and is not putting more money into my account. I will be providing full screenshot proof that the money used from the GoFundMe was used on rent and food, and I did not scam anybody. I am, however, going to... I mean, what's the difference, realistically? What is the difference? If you got the money from the GoFundMe, and then bought a plane ticket for somebody else, what is the material difference between starting a GoFundMe buying £1,000 return flight from America for some bum boy that you want to fly out, and then the GoFundMe hits the account. What is the difference? There is none. It's immaterial. Money is fungible. Money is fungible. I'm, however, going to appeal to those who donated to me on my GoFundMe. If they want to donate money back to them... Wait, what? I'm going to appeal to those who donated to me on GoFundMe if they want me to donate money back to them. Despite the horrific financial position I'm in right now, if you all know how I can refund people on GoFundMe, then please let me know. TLDR, I will give money back despite me not having scammed anybody because I want the situation to be dealt with privately with affected parties and I want to take a break. So despite the fact that I did nothing wrong, right, okay, you're going to refund the money. Great stuff. So everyone who donated will be paid back. I'll make a video going over how I did not use the money on the ticket. Retarded. Never a claim that I made. Never a claim that anyone made. Nobody has claimed this, except for some retard online who's misunderstood it. Oh my god. I mean, don't forget, okay? Parlo, I was not claiming when I spoke to him on stream that he had spent this money on the ticket. Nobody in that stream was saying that to him. And he still didn't take the L. All he could say was that he spent money a little bit frivolously. He was retarded with his finances. As if return flight from the US to America is like just an impulse purchase, you know? Do you ever get that? You know? Do you get that? You're just like walking through the supermarket. You're about to get to the checkouts, and then all of a sudden you notice advertised next to the checkouts is like a return flight from America to the UK. Do you guys ever sit? No? They're just me? Okay, you know. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's different in the UK. Maybe this is just something me and Parlo see. Okay. So everyone who donated will be paid back. I'll make a video going over how I did not use the money on the ticket. But I do take accountability for the bad financial decisions and how I affected friends with the fallout of this all. I confirmed this request. Okay. Oh! Wait, what? No! Oh my god! Oh! Oh my god! I wish to provide these users with their donations back. I may have been partially misleading with my GoFundMe, as I was not transparent regarding my previous history of poor financial decisions. What do you mean previous history? This isn't like you took a loan out 5 years ago. This isn't like 2 years ago you spent a little bit too much money on like booze. Bro. With my previous history of poor financial decisions, and I want to make it right. Okay. There we are. Nice. There we go. Wait, isn't that admission of a crime? I'm not gonna delve into that, okay? I'm not gonna delve into that. I don't know.
Looking to fly you out, handsome kiss.
Thank you, Janky Johnny. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. GoFundMes are always in like a weird area. They're always in like a weird area. So if you represent that you are in dire straits, and then you buy something like a frivolous expense, and then you receive the money, I don't know. You've made a misrepresentation, right? You've kind of been dishonest about really needing this cash, because clearly you've got an awful lot of money to be able to like splash about on stuff. But is that a crime? I don't know. Yeah. I walked by Parlo the other day. He made a 62-page document about me. Yeah, he does be making long documents. Yeah. He does be making long documents. Soul Skibbity, be a little bit more precise, and maybe I will read your chats. How's it going, Scorin OSU? Wait, hold on. Hold on. Hello. I am Bite from the document. Oh, the person that he was messaging at the time. The person that he was messaging and saying that he was trying to get Parlo in to come and cuddle him. and then went back and deleted that message. Yeah, just for people who don't know. Hi, I'm Byte from the document. I actually have a screen recording of my full conversation with Internet Adjacent regarding him, post him deleting a message with me, of my full conversation with me. If you would like me to send that through, yes, I would. I was actually put in the document without my consent. I was not aware that Parlo was going to name drop me. Lol. Wait, hold on. Dickus TV on Discord, exclamation point Discord in chat if you want to join in the Discord. Wait. So you spoke to him at the time on a call about him deleting that message? Hold on. I actually have a screen recording of my full conversation with Internet Adjacent regarding post him deleting messages with me and my full conversation with him. Okay. I would. I'll probably send that to somebody else just to make sure there's no personally identifying information in there, okay, before I play it on stream. I'll take a look at it though. Thank you very much. Okay. Alright, there we are. Now, I think, so, where are we left? The full screen recording has the deleted message. Oh, thank you, okay, appreciate it. Right. So, where have we been left now? Internet Adjacent looks as though he's working on a response to Parlo's response to his preempting, okay? And then Parlo is not seemingly interested in talking about this anymore, but he has taken down his document, and he is now going to make a response to the GoFundMe allegations. Great. Okay? Fantastic stuff. So, there's going to be more to continue. I guess that was only Act 1. We've got more to come. I do wonder what the conversation has happened in the background. I've heard little tidbits about a conversation that's happened in the background. I don't know exactly what's true, though. I haven't got enough to be able to, like, piece all the bits together. Yeah. Parlo made a community post on his second channel hinting me with a video on it. Really? Hold on. YouTube. How's it going, Byte? Okay, let me add you. Okay, I'll send you a message. Nice. Parlo Gaming is, I believe, his second channel. Yeah, there we are.
Over the course of the...
What does that mean, though? Quit teasing stuff and just lick it. Listen, Tyrone, I can't, okay? As much as I would enjoy to, I can't. I will say, okay, that I'm getting dribs and drabs here, but, okay, if I'm not confident on something, I'm not gonna leak it, okay? If I've agreed not to leak something, I'm not gonna leak it, okay? There we are. Gonna be making a lot of videos soon. Stay tuned. Please tell me the GoFundMe thing is a lie. I'm disgusted by the claim. Complete and utter lie? What? Please tell me the GoFundMe thing is a lie. Complete and utter lie. It's not a lie though, is it? It's just not a lie though, is it? Okay. So, can you explain the charity fraud you pulled? I don't know if I'd call it charity fraud. Never did that. And Tanuki is a racist liar. And is about to be exposed. I'm going to debunk the lies. Evil Sans Real says, there's a ton of evidence against you, man. Especially on Twitter. I'm starting to believe what you say isn't true. At Evil Sans Real, I have all the receipts. And I'm going to make countless videos proving that I'm correct. So that is what he's talking about. That is what he's talking about. Okay. Nice. So Pure Fence says, you're stealing money from your GoFundMe for bullcrap. Wow. Just wow. You're spending that money for people that support you to spend it on bullcrap. I hope you know I'd rather have you gone than steal money from people. Okay, this person is literally like 12 years old, okay? Right, I get it. Can't wait to debunk this lie. Okay. Right. There we are. I mean, it's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult to walk both lines, right? You want to minimize the drama, and so you refund basically everybody on your GoFundMe. But then at the same time, you want to argue that you're totally innocent? Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Yeah. Aiden mentioned to me that he didn't exactly know my thoughts. And I know that I only included it at the end of the stream. So I guess my thoughts so far, and listen, I've been pretty open about this in private, even when I've had like calls with people. Got that screen recording sent. Just to make this clear, I'm on nobody's side, and I do not associate with anyone involved. Yo! Screen recording includes the deleted messages. Includes the deleted message, trying to get him to cuddle in bed. This whole conversation was me finding out about the parlo situation and wanted to get both sides before I draw conclusions. English is not my first language, so my spelling might be a bit messy. That's fine. Okay. Hey up. Let's have a gander then. Nice. Whoa. Okay. So. No problem. Maybe you can visit in Brighton during December if you're able to. That's internet adjacent. Gambit, or, Bite, I guess, says, in December, I'll be in Latvia visiting my family. Well, real dad's side anyway. Right, so here we are. Wolfgang says, that sounds fun. Trying to get him to cuddle in bed right now. Gambit says, take it easy. Then Wolfgang says, I fucked everything up. Whoa, what happened? Zillow and Paulo are mad at me. Wait, no, genuinely, what have you done? Wolfgang says, I don't even know. But says, how come they're mad? Wolfgang replies, Paulo said I made him uncomfortable. He said he pressured to not do sex. That I would get upset, even though I constantly told him we don't have to do stuff. Can you call? Because I'm genuinely freaking out right now. Gambit says, give me 1 second, man. This is a bit much. Gambit says, I did tell you to take it slow. Wolfgang says, I told him I would go as slow as he wants. Gambit says, I don't know what to say right now. I feel like I need more context because this is twice. Oh, this is twice people have said the same thing about you. Wolfgang says, what? Dog. Those people were proven to be fucking lying last time. This is the I said this at the time, okay? I don't know if I said this on the stream, actually. Fuck it. When somebody says that allegations that have been levied against them have been proven to be lies, that is a huge fucking red flag about, in my opinion. It's like an enormous red flag. Like, usually with allegations, there's a misunderstanding, right? It's like a different perspective. There are different angles to it. For you to say that, like, allegations have been proven to be a lie, that's just not true, is it? And the allegations against him weren't proven to be lies. They were, exactly as I said, they were misunderstandings, different angles, misframings. If you're going to say that consistently the allegations were proven to be a lie when that's not really what happened, kind of implies that you are more focused on how people perceive things, and maybe you are willing to stretch the truth. What about Saberspark? We're not talking about Saberspark, Alex Pratt. I don't know. Okay. I don't know what you think we're talking about. We're not talking about Saberspark. What were the previous allegations? Alex Pratt, you are retarded. Nobody will ever lie, guys. That's not what I'm fucking saying. Do you know what the previous allegations were, Alex? Do you know what the previous allegations were? Or are you just spitballing and being an annoying F-slur? Okay? the Anthrocon stuff wasn't proven to be a lie. You can maybe say that it was mislabeled. You can maybe say that it was overinflated, there was nothing burger. But to say that it's been proven they are lying... those people were proven to be fucking lying last time. Gambit says, this feels like the other situation. I'm sorry, but if another person has said the exact same thing about you, that they felt pressured, then I don't know how to feel. I heard out your side last time, because I do remember, I do believe you, but I genuinely need more context before I say/do anything. Wolfgang says, can we please call? I can tell you what they said. However, I do have to say, okay, the only thread, because I'm not going to hang my hat on the fucking Anthrocon allegations, right? I've been very open about the fact that I think that the Anthrocon allegations are, like, such a fucking nothing burger, it's not even worth talking about. Maybe you could say that a link between them is a lack of reading social signals. A lack of reading social signals, maybe, right? But past that, you can't really say anything. In both cases, to this day, I maintain, I don't think that IA was like, I don't know, malicious. The Anthrocon allegations is literally just a miscommunication. Yeah, I agree. But I mean, like, using one set of allegations that were, like, basically nothing, and then there's a new set of allegations. You can say that this has been alleged of him twice, sure, but then look into what actually happened, right? Maybe on first blush, it's like a, kind of finger in the air, trying to get a sense of exactly where the wind is blowing. Maybe it's bad. Or if you want like an initial kind of like, what do we feel like has happened here? Maybe. But if you actually want to talk about the situation, there is more information for you to be able to like suss out there, right? Anyway, so I really can't call right now, but I'll try and find time in like a couple minutes. If I can. I want to hear both sides. Wolfgang says, they said they want to talk to me tomorrow. Gambit says, I think it's best to sleep on it. I don't know. I want to hear both yours and Parlo's side. Wolfgang says, why can't people just fucking say things to me? Why can't they just flat out tell me shit? Gambit says, I did tell you to take it easy. And take it slow multiple times. Wolfgang says, I hate my fucking life. Gambit says, but it sounds like you rushed into this. Rushing things is going to get people hurt. Wolfgang says, I told him we can go as slow as possible. I only did stuff we were talking about doing. I only did stuff we talked about doing. Ooh, is that at the time? Or is that previously over text? Okay. Oh, okay. That could go either way. It's inconclusive. Gambit says, you've only been there for 2 days, and by the sounds of it, you've already tried to have sex with him? ? Wolfgang says, we had sex the first day. Gambit says, don't fuck on the first date, my guy. It's the biggest rule of dating. Wolfgang, which he asked me for multiple times on the way there, and even before the Airbnb. Before you met in person. Yeah. Sorry, these texts are after they've already had sex. Yes. So if you take a look at this, this is like the 14th or the 13th in UK time. So yeah, that's exactly what's happened here. This is after Parlo has basically grabbed up all his shit and then left. At Dickers, does not eating for 32 hours mean you wouldn't have shit in the pipes? Bobby Sands did a dirty protest while hunger striking. I don't know. That's what Parlo said his intention was, though. Yeah. That's what Parlo said his intention was. That he wasn't eating so that they could have anal sex without it being messy. Yeah, we'll say that much, okay? Nice. So, Gambit says, yeah, not gonna lie, this whole thing sounds rushed and a mess. Was he drunk or high, or under the influence of anything? Wolfgang says, no, none of us are on anything. Gambit says, I just feel like this happens when you rush into the things. Genuine love for somebody shouldn't be rushed. And it absolutely shouldn't only be only for physical intimacy. Wolfgang says, it's like the universe fucking hates me. Right. Yeah, Wolfgang seems like he does have a pattern of this. Wolfgang feels like he does have a pattern of this. Other people are trying to talk about his allegations. Other people are trying to talk about the public dramas that he's in. And he's kind of seems to only want to talk about how awful his life is or how fucked things are for him. If it's once or twice, you get it, it's a rough situation. If it's continuous, again and again and again and again about the same things to people that you barely know, even. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Lamau, there are so many easier ways to prep to bottom. Thank you, Simi. Thank you. I can confirm he has a habit of rushing into things. He has asked me out once, without even seeing my face, Lamau. Really? Wait, hold on. I need to get some more of your messages. At the time of my screen recording, I was shocked because this was the second time I heard something extremely similar, so you can see my live shock at the time. Okay, when you were talking about him rushing things, are you talking about the Anthrocon allegations, and then this, or are there other situations that I guess you can attest to? Him asking you out once without even seeing your face. Yeah, I get that. I'm going to usually think about, like, sexually rushing things, right? Like, trying to blow past and Anthrocon on this. Okay, right. So just to make sure there's no vague posting. Or no, like, vagaries. Okay. So, genuine love for somebody shouldn't be rushed. I'm not sure if there was genuine love here. Now, I do know, and this is something that I didn't really touch upon on the stream originally. If you go through Parlo's document, or a copy of it, an archive of it now, Internet Adjacent had set Parlo's name on his phone to, like, future boyfriend, love heart, or future husband. I forget exactly what. And for him, it seems as though this was a romantic tryst. I don't know if that was kind of corroborated by, or I don't know if that was corresponded on Parlo's side. I don't know if that was requited, but yeah. Yeah. Hold on. I'll see if I can get it. Because I don't think I've seen anything from Parlo's side that would suggest that that was requited. Yeah, but there we are. Future whole love heart. Tyrone, you are absolutely disgusting, bro. That's despicable shit. Okay. Yeah, because on Parlo's side of things, he's just called Wolfgang. With his YouTube icon. All the way at the end. Ah, okay. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, so he set his name as future boyfriend with like a fingers crossed emoji. Yeah. Fingers crossed emoji. I'll be right back. I'll dig up the messages requested and send them through. Hugely appreciate it. Okay. So if you look, Internet Adjacent says, hey. This seems like their first text chat, it looks like, on iMessage. So Internet Adjacent says, hey. Parlo says, hey. Internet Adjacent says, I'm still in class, sad face. Parlo says, damn, how long for? Internet Adjacent says, maybe like 5 minutes, but then I gotta stop at the Target to grab that ointment. Parlo says, ah, I get you. I'm just playing Fortnite right now. Internet Adjacent says, lucky, I just got out. Gotta stop at Target, then I can join you. Wanna call here or Discord? And then there's no response. And then he messages back the following week, it seems like, and says, hi, :3. Right. Okay, so this is a part of the document that I didn't really go over, okay? Hold on. Let me move over to my document window. Okay, here we are. So Paulo actually explains this. Internet Adjacent being seen having contact, my contact save as future boyfriend. This is despite my hesitancy towards any relationship before we even met. He rushed into what he perceived to be a relationship with me, despite me making it clear that I wanted boundaries before anything like that happened. Okay, and then we're talking about the fucking chlamydia shit. I don't really care about that. Okay, nice. So, yeah, it seems as though there might be a little bit of, like, emotional rushing. It seems that there might be a little bit of emotional rushing. Yeah. Okay. So, genuine love for somebody shouldn't be rushed. And it absolutely shouldn't be only for physical intimacy. Wolfgang says, it's like the universe fucking hates me. Gambit says, we learn from our mistakes, but I can say this was 100% rushed. Wolfgang says, this was how we started talking to one another. Like, romantically. Romantically or sexually? Romantically or sexually? Okay, that's not the way that I've seen this play out. I'll say that much. I don't know if the sexual conversations would be mistaken for romantic conversations. Okay. Maybe that's a claim that can be cleared up. That seems to be like a difference between the two. Although, would internet adjacent, would I trust internet adjacent to be able to distinguish between the two? I'm not sure. Gambit asks, like about sex, question mark? Oh no! Gambit thinks the exact same thing I do. Gambit says, like about sex? Wolfgang says, yeah. Gambit says, dude, no. That's not genuine love for somebody. If you loved somebody, your first thought about them wouldn't even be sex. Wolfgang says, no, that was our first interaction romantically. Gambit says, even so. Wolfgang says, not the first thing I think about with him. That's not necessarily a romantic situation. That's not necessarily a romantic situation at all. Gambit says, it just says a lot. I mean, I'm not to judge, but I've been in quite a few relationships to know that as soon as you bring up sex, so early on, you're doomed to fail. Sex is a very intimate act. Hookups exist, and so do one night stands. But is that real love? Sex isn't love. And it sounds like you were both using each other for sex. Using each other for sex, I don't know if I agree with that verbiage, but yeah, there we are. This Gambit sounds gay? Possibly. Maybe. Wolfgang says, that's what he talked about constantly. Gambit says, I mean, fucking on the first night, dude. Wolfgang says, I thought it was normal. Gambit says, that's insane. No, it's not. I will say, okay, and that's what I said for both sides, even when I did the stream, is that Parlo did set up a huge expectation for what both of them were going to do on the night, but they never followed through with it. That's an obvious sign. That is like an obvious sign that something has changed there. Anyway. So Gambit says, no, that's insane. It's not. Wolfgang says, this shit might turn me asexual. I'm so fucking tired of this shit. Gambit says, it's normalized in gay culture because LGBTQ+ is very sex positive. But even a gay man will tell you sex is better with somebody who you genuinely love and take it slow with. Sex isn't meant to just be for pleasure. Sure. I don't really know if I agree with this advice. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this advice. I don't know. This is speaking for me personally. Have I had better than average relationships? I don't know. Like I've always had sex like very, very early into relationships. First date, usually. Second date, probably. And, you know, even for relationships that I've had for like a long time. So, I don't know. So, Wolfgang says, what part of this is me pressuring him? Okay. So, this is before they've even met. Okay? This is before they've even met. Wolfgang says, do you want me to blow you before or after the club? Parlo says, before, I think. Alright, just let me know whenever and I can go change. Oh my god. Okay. No, this is when they've met. Parlo has already seen the wolf mask, short shorts, fishnets, crop top combo, okay? Okay, we've already read these all before, okay? We've already read these all before. Do you want me to change and we can do stuff? So that's like a repeated prompting. He didn't message you back for like 20 minutes. Okay. Do you want me to change and we can do stuff? Zillow's down to head out for a bit. Parlo says, I want to chill for now on Minecraft. And then, okay. Like an hour later, Parlo just sends him a copy of the pyrocynical document. Oh, man. There you are, buddy boy. Listen, okay? Let me send you this like 2,000-page document. You can go and read that if you'd like. It's like, hey, Parlo, do you want to have sex? Boom, fucking crime and punishment. Read this first. How about it? Yeah? Okay. Okay. So Gambit says, like I said, I want to hear both sides. It would be fucked up for me to take one side in this situation. Wolfgang says, I know. Can you call now, by the way? This is the problem that Wolfgang... I don't know if he doesn't realize. I don't know if Wolfgang doesn't realize. But... yeah. As soon as you tell somebody who's not a breast... Well, there's no breast in this drama, but... if you tell somebody who's not familiar with an allegation, or familiar with a situation that, by the way, me and this other person that we know online have had gay sex together, and there's a rape allegation, they're obviously going to go to the person who's going to make the allegation, because nobody wants to hear one side of the drama. Or nobody wants to hear one side of the allegations. Especially when you are responding to the allegations, right? Everyone's going to want to go to, like, the original person and say, hey, by the way, what's going on there? Huh? What's this? Apparently, you're accusing this guy of rape? What's the allegation? Man. And Wolfgang, despite what he claims, okay? Despite what he claims, I never wanted this out. I never wanted this out. It's not true. That's not true. He's flitted, and he even admits this. He flitted between wanting this to come out so that he can bury Parlo, and the other side, he didn't want this to come out because he'd realised information had come out about himself, right? So he's flitting between those two. But it's not true to say he never wanted this to come out. Okay, he says, I know. Can you call now? Gambit says, you're allowed to vent your frustrations to me and anger, and I will listen. So Gambit says, it's about 12 AM. I have a lot of shit to do tomorrow. Broken heart emoji. Wolfgang says, alright. Gambit says, any chance you'd get me in contact with Zillow? I just want more context. Wolfgang says he's in the group chat, and I don't think he'll answer right now. Gambit says, I'll ask. Wolfgang says, and please let me speak to the two of them first. Hmm? Huh? 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 What are you doing, man? What are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, by the way, there are going to be allegations coming out back to me. Yeah. Apparently he felt pressured into sex. Don't speak to them. Let me speak to him first. Yeah? Before you speak to him, I'll let you know, okay? I'll let you know when it's safe to speak to the person who's accusing me. Bro, you are spreading around the allegation. You are spreading it around. They're gonna ask him as soon as they find out. Oh, read my message, very important. Hey, Dickers, can we talk about how on your last stream, you made it seem like he didn't, and he ran with it, and faked being mad at Himpleton? Okay. I'm guessing you're talking about he ran with it, as in Internet Adjacent ran with it, and he faked being mad at Himpleton. You can read it like that. What I'm talking about is, if Internet Adjacent claims that he never wanted this to come out, right? Which isn't true. But he definitely flipped between. But if you look at all of the messages leading up to this coming out, he doesn't want this to come out. He doesn't want this to come out, okay? And he was faking being mad at Himpleton because Himpleton knew firsthand that Parlo had no intention of releasing this unless Internet Adjacent did. That was why he was mad at Himpleton, okay? Himpleton knew that Parlo had no intention of releasing this. He's like, oh, okay. because Himpleton had been the one to convince Internet Adjacent, Parlo's going to release this any day now. No, Parlo is going to drop this. Parlo's absolutely going to drop this. And then Himpleton knows that that's false. I don't know why you're trying to fucking sweep for Himpleton. Anyway. Nice. Gambit says that's fine. I just want more context. I'm not speaking for you. You can do that for yourself. Wolfgang says, they said they want to talk more tomorrow. Gambit replies, and to be honest, I just want to actually know what's going on. I can't take sides. I have to have a neutral stance in this because I'm an outsider. I do have to go now, but if you end up talking tomorrow and sort it out, let Zillow know that he doesn't have to contact me and it's sorted. I know the last thing you'll need is another person involved. Wolfgang says, I'm not going to sleep much tonight. Did Zillow answer? And it looks like that's the end. Okay. Did Byte send me anything else? Whoa! Hello! So, context. Wolfgang vented to me that Parlo was not answering DMs and that none of his friends cared about him. I tried to comfort him. This also proves that he showed the hospital pics to multiple people, including me. Screen recording ends when the topic goes off topic. Okay. So these are the DMs previously. Dude, okay, I wish I had these 2 days ago. Holy fuck. Okay. I know blank screen. Holy fuck, let me get them up. Okay. Here we are. So we start from the start. I'm gonna get my fucking glasses on. Hold on. Holy shit, I thought this was Beckett. Did anyone ever tell you sound like Beckett? JFA, shut the fuck up, bro. Holy fuck.
Has anyone ever told you sound like Beckett, Dickers? Oh, Dickers? Dickers, has anyone told you sound like...
Yes! Okay. Listen, okay. Look at my VODs, okay? Look at my VODs. How many views do they get, okay? How many people are in chat? How many people are in chat? You think you're the first person in a year of streaming to mention that I sound like Beckett of Crabs from Cope and Seed. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Weirdly, that has come up before. Fuck you. Okay. So, go to the start of the DMs. Wolfgang says, talk to one of my friends, and apparently me fearing that they hate me is starting to make them hate me. Oh, God. Okay. This is from a month ago. This is from just over a month ago. Right. Okay. Okay. Oh, man. I didn't know about this, but this seems predictable. This is the exact kind of person that Wolfgang would be in private DMs. Dude, this just kind of confirms like the mental map that I built of him in my mind, I guess. Yeah, he is really, really worried that people hate him, and it makes him really, really kind of sensitive to social rejection. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. So Byte says, sorry, I've been so busy, broken heart emoji. I'm on a bit of a road trip. Wolfgang says, all good. I think I fucked everything up. Byte says, how come? Wolfgang says, nobody's texting anymore. Not Parlo. Not my friends. No one. And I found out they were all starting to be annoyed with me and I apologized. Now it's just silence. Byte says, my Wi-Fi is really fucking bad at the moment. Sorry, I'm in a storm right now. Oh my god, dude. Doing it over fucking text. You're doing it over fucking text. That is brutal. That is absolutely fucking brutal. Nobody texts me anymore. Not Parlo. Not my friends. Nobody. And I found out they all started to be annoyed at me and I apologized. But now it's just silence. Sorry, I'm going for... what did you say? There's a crazy thunderstorm right now. That doesn't work over text, bro. That doesn't work over text, man. My Wi-Fi is really fucking bad right now. Sorry, I'm in a storm right now. Might be a time to start finding some new friends. Or just talk to them about it, maybe. Okay. I think this is awful fucking advice. This is a permanent thing. This is a permanent feature of Wolfgang's mind, okay? This is his approach to friendships. This is his approach to relationships. Nothing is going to change if he finds new friends. It's going to be the exact same thing. Because the problem isn't actually with his relationships, right? The problem is how he engages with his relationships. That's that. That's all in my opinion. Now, I don't know Wolfgang, okay? But that's my read on the situation. Yeah. Might be time to stop finding new friends. Or just talk to them about it, maybe? It seems like he already has. Yeah. No, don't. Listen. Scorin, Bite, however you prefer to refer to. It's fine. Listen. If I'm critiquing your advice, I'm not talking shit about you, okay? Just give it commentary. Okay. So Wolfgang says, I did. Wolfgang says, you okay? I heard about the strike. Paulo says, I'm distraught and defeated. Wolfgang says, I'm sorry. Paulo says, what in the fuck do I even do? Wolfgang says, did they reject the appeal? Wouldn't it make you feel better if I booked the apartment? I want to help in any way I can. Double text. No reply. Wolfgang says, I'm here for you if you need to talk about it. Hour goes by. No reply. We need to talk later. Please. Oh my god, bro. This guy's quadruple texting. Wait. Was there... Okay, and then with Avalon. You okay? Avalon says, yeah. My mum wanted to ask me about divorce/police shit. Okay. Wolfgang says, okay. But yeah, going forward, I'm gonna keep all that mental health shit and Paulo stuff to myself. I'm sorry if I ever made you feel bad or uncomfortable by my telling you about it. And if I ever legit do anything to annoy or bother you, you just have to let me know and I'll do anything to fix it. An hour goes by. No reply. How's it going with getting channel permissions? Avalon says, getting it done via Cormanx. Can't get perms for the other guys. Wolfgang says, RIP. He isn't able to upload for a month, right? 25 minutes go by. That's if the strike stays. Like, I can tell what is going on during that 25 minutes, right? Wolfgang has sent a text. He got one pretty quickly. And now he's worried that Avalon is never going to message him. And he feels put out by it. He's thinking about it. He's probably ruminating it. It's like, okay, so Avalon doesn't care enough to be able to reply to me. And then he sends a follow-up double text. Bite says, sorry, images are taking forever to load. Wolfgang says, I'm gonna go to the emergency room after class. I don't trust myself to be alone right now. Bite says, please do, man. You need somebody to talk to right now. I can't be there right now. My Wi-Fi is fucking shit. Fuck off, Gonzo. So Wolfgang says, I thought I could talk to them. They've told me so much. I've done so much. If they have a problem, I'm somebody who will listen. And I told them, if they have a problem, just reach out. But they don't. Nobody ever does. I fuck everything up. I'm fucking worthless. Bro, I mean, you're just like Discord friends, innit? You're just like Discord friends. It feels like you saying that if they have a problem, I'm somebody who will listen. That's more for you than it is for them. That's more for you than it is for them. You're asking it so that you can get them to talk to you about your personal problems. Sorry, so they can talk to you about their personal problems. And that affirms in your mind that you are actually friends and you have a friendship and like a relationship together. That isn't so they feel open to talk. That isn't so they feel like open to open up. Okay. Bite says, You're not worthless. It's just that you haven't found worth in yourself. You need to keep your chin up. Better days will come. But before anything, I need you to talk to somebody. Wolfgang says, why does this always happen? People come to me with problems, but they never care about mine. I found these guys clients. I've made them money. I've been there through everything. Yet I can't show any weakness. They won't even care. Bro, it just sounds... Okay, this is like internet relationships. These are not real associations. These aren't real associations. Like, it seems like, yeah, you've found these guys other YouTubers, other online people that they could work with for their management business. It doesn't seem as though it's that kind of relationship. It doesn't seem like it's that kind of association. So Byte says, people are selfish. You should learn to love yourself. Wolfgang says, they'll just hate me even more. What did I do to deserve this? Nobody would care if I just downed pills. Byte says, listen to me, bro. You need to seek help. Please, after class, go and talk to somebody, get the help you need. People on the internet aren't going to fulfill you. Based advice. Good advice. Wolfgang says, I thought they were my friends. I was going to visit them in a week. Byte says, focus on getting help after class first, then talk to them. Wolfgang says, I loved Parlo. I loved all of them. Why don't they like me? This is just like a fundamentally wrong approach. This is like a fundamentally wrong approach to this stuff, isn't it? Like, he's saying that he loved Parlo. They've never met. I think they might have, like, face revealed to each other. I don't think these people know... other people on the trip didn't know Internet Adjacent's real name. Okay. Okay. Why don't they like me? Byte says, you can't please everyone. You can't make people like you. Some people are just the way they are, and you can't force them to have a certain view on you. I was the same way for a long time. The only person who matters is yourself. Love yourself, because the end of it all, it's just us and nobody else. Wolfgang says, nothing. Avalon, can we call later? Okay. I can't get out anything. All I wanted was to know that I mattered. Byte says, yeah, okay, I could see that, thank you. Byte says, I would just wait around, honestly. They might be busy. Wolfgang says they won't even care. If anything, they'll just hate me more for going to hospital. They won't even care. They won't even care. They won't even care. Byte says, what makes you think that? Nobody wants you to suffer. Wolfgang says, they just think this whole thing is me wanting to be with Parlo. But I've said it's far more. I don't know why nobody listens to me. At the hospital. Sorry, my Wi-Fi, I can't see the image. Wolfgang says, it's just one of those, like, things. Byte says, I'm glad you're getting the help, though. Wolfgang says, they might lock me up. Byte says, I don't know the American system, but I don't think they do that unless you're in danger to yourself or others. Wolfgang says, I might go dark for a few days. Byte says, no worries. Whatever is best for you, focus on yourself. Wolfgang says, they gave me pills. Byte says, try them out. What? Try them out, see how it goes. Just uploaded my fist song. Okay. Nice. Alright. There we are. Oh, man. So, wait. I need to correspond a couple of details here. Hold on. When did Internet Adjacent post that in his Discord? About being in hospital. Hold on. Let me double check that real quick. Let me just double check that. Okay. Let me... Oh, it was the exact same day then. Right. Was it the exact same day? This is from October 3rd. Yeah. 3rd of October. And then this from Biteside is... When? This conversation? Oh, October 3rd. Yeah, okay. Listen, I did say I'm not usually very comfortable talking about, like suicide baiting allegations or suicide baiting claims. I'm genuinely pretty uncomfortable with that. I am not sure what I think about this. Because then he goes and acts everyone in his server. He feels low because he feels like nobody loves him. Or nobody pays attention to him. Okay. Because the way that he represented it to me, so far as I'm aware, this might be a lie. This might be a lie. I'd have to maybe go back and see a recording. When I asked him about this, he said that the messages that he sent saying that nobody cares about me, they wouldn't even care if I went to the hospital, nobody replies to me. He said that that conversation was after he was in hospital. That was after he was in the hospital already, not beforehand. I mean, okay. Yeah, I think he's just a genuinely tragic individual. Yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, there seems to be, like, increasing evidence to say that, yeah, he probably is using, the hospital to get attention. There we are. But, anyway, okay. Nice. Have it be known that Dicker's name is written on the note of Internet Adjacent's close associates. Okay. That's not a real note, is it? Just FYI, thought I'd check. Okay. Right. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. So, basically, my thoughts on all of this. There are, like, difficult areas. I tried to, I guess, give my thoughts at the end of the stream, but Aiden said that he wasn't aware of them, and it is after, like, the end of, like, dross content at the end, okay? We're really kind of, like, running on fumes. So, I guess to give them relatively succinctly, I've been open about this, on stream, behind the scenes. I don't think that Parlo did enough, okay? In terms of, like, communication. He says, when I spoke to him, that I basically said, you should have been able to feel comfortable to say no, to say something, right? Because he's saying, listen, this is somebody else that I kind of, like, work with, share the same friendship group with. We're, like, internet friends. We're also both commentators. Like, what happens if this guy goes schizo? He made some allusion to Internet Adjacent possibly being violent. It's like, yeah, I get that. But didn't you kind of, did you have any consideration for this? Kind of like before you invited him? Did you think maybe it'll go bad? Maybe I'll have to prepare for that? You know? Because what I always think about is like an assumption of risk, right? You assume a level of risk to have a hookup. You assume a level of risk when you fly somebody out from the United States to the UK to spend days there. What happens if it goes bad? And Paulo basically said, I get what you're saying, but I never thought that it would go bad. So it doesn't seem like Paulo actually thought about the assumption of risk. So, yeah, there we are. Is this J-Stalk's Wolfgang? No. That's Wolfgang. Not the same person. This is not the same person. Durio crashing out about the Parlo drama. Check DMs for clip. I'll be with you in 2 seconds. So, from Parlo's side, I don't think enough was done to be able to explicitly communicate exactly what happened, right? However, when you look at it in the whole situation, I can see several points where Parlo is trying to pump the brakes, right? Where Parlo is trying to communicate pretty clearly, no, something has changed now, actually. I feel slightly different about this now. And then Internet Adjacent does seem as though he is continually pushing, right? For 2 hours, going back and forth from the living room to his room. Zillow left because it was so obviously awkward that Internet Adjacent was trying to get something or see if something was going to pop off. Internet Adjacent says that is true, that wasn't in the back of his mind, and he just never kind of thought that that would be considered pushy or that that would be considered kind of pressuring. Anyway. Yeah. The other thing about this as well, now even on that basis, those are my first thoughts, there's no extra information that's come in that's fundamentally changed the way to think about the situation. However, I thought this was going to be a case of he said, she said, miscommunication, misunderstanding, nobody's done anything maliciously, until I was going to defend IA on that basis, right? My conclusion was going to be, IA fucked up, there were signals he didn't pick up, but ultimately, Parlo should have been able to be explicit about this stuff, right? That was going to be my take. Until it looks as though IA has gone through and deleted at least one DM now. We can see that he's gone back and deleted at least one DM. When he's challenged about that, he says, I don't know, I don't remember. You guys think I've been talking about, you've been thinking about this, like, all the time? I've barely been thinking about this at all. But then goes on to admit later on, yeah, okay, that's not true. I have been thinking about this an awful lot, but I can't remember deleting that DM. Okay. Okay, dude. Yeah, sure. Sure thing. Yeah. He claims that he can't remember deleting that DM. So he lies. He's trying to cover up his tracks by going through and deleting DMs. Then, when it goes through, and we're talking about the back and forth for exactly what's happening, I thought it was going to be a case of misunderstanding. Signals have been kind of read wrong. Somebody felt pressured. Somebody didn't realize they were making somebody else feel pressured. Thought it was going to be it. But then all of a sudden, for these like oversteps or for these complaints that Parlo has, all of a sudden, Internet Adjacent has the story that this has all actually been spelled out explicitly. That he has explicit consent, which is just not usually how such consent works, right? Parlo is making the claim that this was done kind of a little bit of a push of his boundary, or a little bit presumptuous that he's kind of pushed something and not really, been considering of the fact that Parlo's been putting out these signals, but not being explicitly like he doesn't want it. No. Internet Adjacent is now making the claim that there are explicit consent for each of these things. Yeah? Explicit consent for these things. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Shelby. And the thing that keeps on going through my head, and I was thinking about this after the stream, is for the shower thing, it seems though Parlo explicitly said, I'll go in first, you go in after. Now, if you've already had sex, is going into the shower to trim your beard, or whatever he was doing, like, the worst thing? Maybe not. Maybe some people would be comfortable with that. Maybe other people wouldn't be. Maybe it's like a weird thing and a miscommunication, right? Right? Internet Adjacent then comes out with the claim that, no, Parlo agreed that we were going to shower together. Parlo agreed. It's going to save time. We were going to shower together, he said. Parlo claims that's not true. I'll go first, you go after. That was what was agreed. And then when it comes to the allegation about Internet Adjacent sticking a finger in Parlo's ass, it seems like, okay, well, they've spoke a lot about doing anal. It's never actually come to fruition. Maybe they're having some kind of sex, right? Whether it's blowjob, oral, whatever. Hand job. And then, Internet Adjacent maybe wants to introduce anal into the sexual encounter and kind of see which way it goes. Parlo says that he didn't want it, he went rigid, he was giving obvious signs that he didn't like it when it happened. But then Internet Adjacent comes in with the claim again that Parlo was given explicit consent. There's an explicit ask, can I put a finger in your ass? And there's an explicit, yes, you can, go ahead. Parlo says that isn't true. Then Internet Adjacent claims, not only just did they get verbal consent, also, Parlo was wiggling about on his finger. He was loving it. He was loving it. He wasn't stiff as a board. No. He was wiggling. He was shaking about on that thing. Literally spinning on it. Literally spinning on it. This is bizarre. This is bizarre. Very, very strange. So, I think that, personally, Internet Adjacent did misread signals. Parlo should have been more explicit with these signals. But in the aftermath, Parlo has been honest about how he feels about the situation. And Internet Adjacent has come out and lied about it. He's lied about situations that happened at the time. Because again, he's coming forward with a preemptive response to the allegations that Parlo made. It seems as though it's for the purpose of what people think about him, right? His kind of like online reputation. That seems what he's primarily interested in. But, as I say, okay, Parlo's going to put out a further response to this stuff. Internet Adjacent's going to put out a further response to this stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe there'll be something else that changes my mind. But, there we are. Okay.